I was walking down the street with my father. This is the first time the first joke I remember him telling. And my father, he bent down to the pavement like he's picking up something. He went, damn, I like to catch the guy who spits like a quarter. I cracked. I knew this is so funny. And then he would say to me, there's something funny in everything. Everything, all right? And we were walking down the street one day, it was hot, and Mr. Conley, a neighbor, was changing a tire. And he couldn't get the nut off. And he was cursing. It was a hot July day. He was sweating, and he had no shirt on. And he was throwing the tools in the street and bitching about it and all that. And my father said, "What's funny about that?" And I looked at it. I was maybe 5, 6 years old. I said, "I don't think nothing funny. Look at Mr. Conley. He's suffering there. It's nothing funny." He says, "Now, I want you to look at it with the third eye, the funny eye. Look at it just to see what's funny, nothing else." And I looked at him, and I start laughing. I said, "His ass is showing out of his pants." He says, "There's something funny in everything." Now we take a transition. I'm now 9. Relative dies, funeral. We go to shul, we go to synagogue, and we're immediate family. We're up in front, and everybody's going by, and all of a sudden I stand up. I go, "I don't understand something." A lot of people are walking by, and they're looking at Uncle Sam and they're saying, "He looks like himself." Who's he going to look like? Uncle Sam dies, he's going to look like Aunt Sarah? And now, the Orthodox, death. The conservatives laughed. The liberals, the reform, screaming, laughing. End of the ceremony, outside, standing there with my father, everyone's saying goodbye, and my father said, he called me Kingy. He said, "Kingy, I told you about jokes and comedy. I left out something important. There's a time and a place for jokes." And I picked up on it right away, and I said, "That wasn't the time or place, was it?" My father was never gruff with me. He was a tough guy, never gruff with me. I never heard him talk like this to me. He said, "No, it wasn't." And boy, I just sank. And maybe 3, 4 seconds later, he said, "But it was so damn funny." And that's the humor in me. And I went to the street corner. I was the funniest guy in the street corner. I was the funniest guy in the school. I was the funniest guy at parties. I was the funniest guy in everything. But I was dreaming about getting out of the neighborhood. I didn't know people became comedians that come from where I'm from. I didn't think anybody could be gangsters. They're the only ones who, really did it. Really, mostly gangsters who became rich and had the money and everything. And then I just fell into it. I actually had a career. I was a writer, producer, director of documentaries. I did 115 of them, in fact, and won a lot of awards and an Emmy and all that kind of stuff. And then got tired because I realized, in my naivete, I thought I was going to do a documentary. Not like you're doing about Bobby Slayton, because he's not going to change anyway. But I thought I was going to change the world. I was going to show them what was wrong and the choices they had, and then they were going to do it, and we'd get rid of poverty, and we'd get rid of overcrowded prisons, and we'd get rid of crime on the street, and we'd get rid of the drugs, and we'd get rid of all this stuff, or at least help get rid of it. And then one day, after 115 of these, I realized nothing's going to change, so I beat my head against the wall. So I decided that's it. And then I thought, and listening to the news a lot on an island I was on, I thought people got to laugh. And I thought, you know what I'll do? I'll stop pressuring myself before I figure out my next career. I'll make people laugh. I've been funny since I'm a little boy. And I started doing it as a goof. And that's the whole beginning of what this thing's been going on for 41 years.